everybody, and welcome back. This is the second episode. With me again, once again, Mr Chakkos is joining me in this. Let's just jump right into it. Costa, how are you doing today?
I'm fine, thank you. Thank you for having me here.
Good. So, basically, I know that this second episode we were supposed to discuss UFOs. But we have to delay that a little bit. We have to take it back, and maybe we'll do it in in the next episode, because from the last episode we got a few comments. So basically, there were some remarks in respect of well, there were some discussions, let's say, because for some people you appear to be very, very racist. I mean, there were different comments. There were comments about you being racist, and there were comments about me being too abusive. And I don't know what feedback you got from the people that listened, and what was the feedback that your friends gave you, but mine were particularly supportive of for you. Even though I really try to make a point on telling them and showing them how ignorant you are. But nevertheless, they still supported you, saying that I was too mean. So, yeah, I wanted to discuss it. I wanted to discuss this issue with racism, because I think deep down, you're not really racist. Deep down, I think that you don't have these issues. You don't have these aspects that may deem you, may make you feel, sound like as if you were racist. I think it's more of another factor, because obviously when you say jokes and when you say things about, your remarks about the Egyptians and how they can't study or they don't study or they can't have opportunities, some of them can, some of them, it was very, very vague, so it didn't really make sense. But I don't think you meant that in a bad way. I don't think you meant it in the wrong context. I think that you meant it in a good way. But because obviously you lack vocabulary and you lack what was the word?
I think you lack all vocabulary right now.
Yeah, I'm lacking a vocabulary. No, you lack in general vocabulary, and I think it was more of an ignorant point that you were coming from.
Thank you. It's like even worse.
No, it's like you're ignorant because you ignore certain aspects of respect and mutual respect and the context in which people might be
respect
listening.
them fully.
Okay, for this to work,
Yeah.
you should wait till I finish and not talk over me. Because if you do talk over me, then it sounds just like, like the sound checks that we did. Okay?
Okay.
Good. So, let's get right into it. Your remarks about the Egyptians, where you lived, people deemed that you were racist because, or the comments were racist because you claim that not all of them are stupid, some of them are, and I would like you to clarify that. So in general, what do you think about racism?
Well, I don't. First of all, I didn't say that they were stupid. I said they were ignorant. Stupid is different.
Okay.
The Egyptians, what I've seen here in the last 10 years, have grown a lot. There's been a big change in Egypt, and they have started to go to school. They have started to, in the past 15 years.
They've started to go to school?
Well, to learn to read, to write. Before they didn't know. Before they weren't allowed. Not everybody could go.
You see, I don't want to say anything, but you're poking the bear. It's like, what do you mean? Like before your time in Egypt,
Well,
what you're saying is that nobody went to school, nobody knew how to read and write, And only in the last 10 years?
20 years, maybe.
In the last 20 years, people have become literate.
No, yeah, they started to go to school. More kids go to school now in the past 20 years.
You realize that that
Not
doesn't make
everybody
sense.
went because they didn't have, you know, money and they were in poverty and not everybody could go to school. They had to work, for example.
So do they have to pay for school?
No, they don't have to pay for school.
So-
They couldn't go to school because they were working.
Okay.
Okay, that's...
Child
Well,
labor.
Well, yeah, it was like that before.
Okay.
Like even in Europe, it was like that 40 years ago, 50 years ago. The kids were working too.
Yeah, true. But I'm pretty sure that some of them still went to school.
Yeah, some of them. In Egypt, most of them didn't. Didn't, yeah.
Okay.
20 years ago, 30 years ago.
Okay. But what in general? Let's expand the demographics to the more on a more global level. What is your opinion on for example, racism in America?
Well, racism in America, huh? I think that they are trying to push it to make like all these different kinds of movements they have in America. They try to make it it is a big problem, but they're trying to make it even bigger. So the stories they try to blow it up in one way, so they can like I don't know.
What do you mean? So, okay, wait a minute. So what you're saying is they're exaggerating with the racism?
Not all of them. Not all of them.
Yeah.
All these groups, some of them are making it way too big what it is.
Some like who?
Some political or aggressive groups on YouTube, on the news and everything. They try to.
So you mean in propaganda, in terms of propaganda?
Yeah.
Okay. That was the word that you were looking for.
That's the word I was. Yeah,
If I said banana, it would have been exactly the
no
same.
banana.
You know the difference. Okay. Yes, they're watching you. You're going to go and thousands and
No.
thousands are going to see you now.
No,
Okay.
I think it's important that they speak up, but obviously without violence, so because with violence it just goes bananas everywhere.
See, I gave you a word there.
I use it.
Bravo, bravo. So, okay, no, obviously, okay, we're laughing here because we're in the context of a comedy show, so, you know. But what do you think about Black Lives Matter, for example?
Well, as I said before, that's people go and protest. They speak up. It's perfectly. I mean, not only black people.
Let me rephrase the question. Do you know what Black Lives Matter is?
It is. It is a movement.
Yeah. You want to expand on that?
It's a movement of.
And now we're going to tap into the ignorant part. So, Costa, what is Black Lives Matter? What kind of movement is it? Why was it created? What does it represent?
You tell me.
I will in a minute. But in the meantime, just give it a go.
Well,
Now you're Googling it. You're Googling it. Jesus, you're pathetic. You're pathetic. I'm trying to pull you out of the racist...
you're trying to put me back in.
and you're trying to put yourself back in. Okay. So, once again, what does Black Lives Matter represent?
Well, it's a movement, of course.
He's reading.
Yeah, no, not really.
Look at his eye. Look at the glasses on his screen.
It's like they protest against incidents with the police and the brutality of the police.
Oh.
And against the African American people.
You see, this is the first time he's used the word African American.
Well, the African American, that's what everybody talks about, and I'm against it.
You're against who?
The word African American.
You're against it?
Yeah, because they use black, right? And they use African American.
Mm-hmm.
It's like black in the old days when the white people, which all these are like wrong words to use for people. But the Europeans used to call black people in Africa, like underline them, because black was considered
pejorative.
Yeah. Say it again?
Pejorative.
Yeah, pejorative. Okay, to make them, it's not to make them feel bad, but it's to
degrade them.
To degrade them, yeah.
I'm using a lot of words here. Okay.
So, and this black, and this African American, and this Chinese, they call, why don't they call like America, they have the Native Americans, right? The Indians.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't they call them yellow or brown? It's you're not supposed to
You don't have
talk
that happen.
about that.
You know why they call them Indian
Why?
in America? Because when Christopher Columbus left Spain,
Yeah, he was looking for
he was
India.
looking to get the West Indies or India or something like that. And when he reached there, by default, he thought he had reached the place. So,
Yeah.
you know, he just called them what he was expecting them to be.
Yeah.
But even when they realized that they were mistaken, they still did that. They still called them India.
Yeah.
You realize the irony?
Yeah, exactly.
It's crazy. So these people were named by mistake by someone, and they kept it for like hundreds of years.
And the same thing with black people. The Europeans used to call
No.
them black. Yes.
Well, they didn't exactly go there like, oh, that's a weird color you have. No, it didn't go like, they knew Africa. Africa was known.
Africa, yeah. But everybody back then they never used to call them African.
Yeah, okay, my point is, Jesus, you're trying to miss the point here. Do you know why the Black Lives Matter movement was created?
Yes, because of the aggressivity, the brutality of the police against black people.
So it was done in a specific context.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what do you have to say about those people that say all lives matter?
I agree with them. All lives matter.
This is racist.
No, all lives matter.
I'll explain the point.
Mm.
I'll explain my point. Black Lives Matter,
Yeah.
as you said, was created in the context of police brutality against African Americans.
Yeah.
Okay. So the purpose of the movement was to protest against that kind of brutality, against racial profiling, against that specific type of card. So that if you're an African American or a minority, okay, whatever color skin your skin is, you would not have to fear for your life every time you were stopped by a police officer or law enforcement, whatever it is. Okay. Now, what happened is when this came out, I think it was during Obama, then a group of people wrote on this and said like, no, it's not just blacks, everybody matters.
Yeah.
All lives matter. And that was so stupid as a statement, and I'm saying that, and you don't realize right now.
Yeah.
I can see that you don't realize what you just said before, but
Yeah.
it was stupid because it was out of context. Yes, of course, all lives matter and nobody should die, but it wasn't for the same purpose.
Yeah.
Okay? You know what that is? The equivalent, and I read this on the internet, I think it's the perfect example of the difference between Black Lives Matter and All Lives Matter. Okay?
Okay.
It's, imagine this, and it's alright, I'm going to put you into a scenario with pictures because I know that you can understand it better. So, basically, imagine that you're at a funeral.
Yeah.
Okay? and it's your turn. You come up to the speaker, and you're describing what your nephew who just died meant to you.
Yeah.
Okay, extremely important for you. You know, you shared special moments. It was a very, very important person for you.
Yeah.
And he tragically died, and you were describing, you know, what was, you know, wrong with society, what was wrong with the fact that he had to leave so soon, so early, without living his life, without enjoying it.
Yeah.
Okay? Now imagine you're saying that, then I come along, take the microphone, and say like, yeah, all nephews matter.
Yeah.
I'm right? But is the context correct?
No, because it doesn't fit.
Exactly. So that's the
situation.
point, and that's the difference, and that's the stupidity why people should not just come in and say like, yeah, all lives matter, because it's not the same point. It's not the same context. Black Lives Matter was created for that specific case. It's not that, you know, other blacks that kill blacks are not important, or Black Lives Matter doesn't touch that.
Question.
No, it wasn't a trick question.
That was a trick question.
No, I had said before we started this interview that we were going to talk about racism and stuff in America. It's just that I think maybe because I use some fancy words, it put you off track very, very soon in the argument. But yeah, but that's exactly the point. There's like, yes, all lives matter, no doubt.
Yeah.
But the context of Black Lives Matter is very, very, very specific to that. So, hence the stupidity of people that claim all lives matter when people...
Yeah, but because they don't know what Black Lives Matter mean. They don't know...
Exactly.
Like, it's the movement and everything. They just think
Exactly.
about the words.
Yeah, you just figured that out now. Because at the beginning... Yeah. Because at the beginning, you said, yeah, I agree with that.
No, it's a movement. Yes, I know. But you just told me into...
So I educated you.
Yeah, okay,
I educated you into something. Not that I educated you in general.
Yeah.
I educated you on the subject.
Yeah.
And now you're able to make a more reasonable and less racist choice.
It wasn't racist.
It was. So that's the difference. And you know, there are many cases, and it's ridiculous sometimes, especially when you see like the situations such as that of George Floyd.
Yeah.
Did you see the video?
Yeah, I saw the video. Yeah. It's incredible.
It's fucking ridiculous.
It's incredible.
Fucking ridiculous.
I mean,
For 8 minutes and 40 something seconds.
And he was shouting that.
Yeah.
He was trying to shout too.
He was calling for his mother.
His name.
Fuck's sake. He was calling for his mother. I mean, and that's a big man. And like, how desperate can you be, like, when you know that
You're gonna die,
it's
yeah.
ridiculous? But that's see, I don't get that. I don't get why these things are still happening, and why people don't take like the right fucking appropriate actions for it. Because this guy got fired, and I think now he's tried. But like, there are so many other cases in the last year, the year before that, of police brutality, where the police either was suspended for a period of time and then came back, or was
Till they would have calmed down, you know.
yeah, until things come down. And it's ridiculous that there are no consequences, no penal consequences. It's just like, you know, he'll get a fine, or he'll be
Fired
dishonorably
or whatever.
discharged, fired, or suspended, and then people can just move on. And it's fucking ridiculous. It's fucking ridiculous how they're not accountable for this type of violence. I got into an argument online recently because of that.
Yeah.
Because I take up social issues, I can understand social issues, I've studied social issues, and I have a broader view of things. And I got into an argument where, you know, the point wasn't very clear, and that had to do with subtle misunderstandings. But you know, it's a shame that in 2020 that we're still in the position where there's no real understanding what is right and what is wrong, especially in these aspects. Because as far as police goes, I do not understand if a man is drunk, if a man is resisting and he's unarmed.
He's armed. He was
I
armed.
don't understand why the fuck you have to shoot him. There was just after the Floyd case, there was another case. Did you see? I don't remember the name now. Where this guy was in a Wendy's or in a parking lot,
Yeah.
and he was sleeping because he was drunk in the car, and there was a queue of cars behind him, and he'd just fallen asleep. So the police came, and they, tapped on the thing, on the window, and they moved the car a little bit further. It's like, hey, you've been drinking, blah blah blah. And he had been drinking. I don't know what the situation was that he was drinking. Anyway, basically from there where he was drunk, and he was like, you know what, I'll call you a cab, and I'll take you home. They wanted to handcuff him again, an African American. They wanted to handcuff him. He resisted because obviously he's drunk.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck do you expect when the guy is drunk?
Yeah.
Like, if you try to put your hands on me when I'm drunk, I'm probably going to try to slap you anyway. Well, what the fuck do you expect is going to be the outcome? So they try to handcuff him down. He gets free one way or another, manages to grab the taser from the police guy who was trying to tase him, and tase him as well. And he starts running away, and they fucking shoot him, and he's dead.
They killed him.
Yeah.
And he has a taser gun.
Yeah, and it's fucking ridiculous. Why the fuck would you shoot somebody who...
To kill. To shoot him in the leg. If you have to shoot him.
Well, that's what they say. But regardless of that, let him fucking walk away. I mean, why kill him? Why kill him? Why is that the ultimate response? Why is that the ultimate solution?
And this one happened after Floyd.
Yeah. I couldn't believe it.
After all this,
it seems,
they shoot him like...
It would seem that, police officers are... It's not also a matter of ignorance. It's a matter of training. It's a matter of proper training. It's a matter of... But when you see there are so many cases and so much heat is going on the internet and on TV about police officers and police brutality, like, you as a police officer, wouldn't you think like, hey, I need to calm the fuck down for at least like a few months? I know I'm an asshole, I'm a fascist, or I'm a this, or that, whatever it is. Okay, and I want to sprone all the childhood repressions on black people. Well, okay, there's a lot going on right now. Let me just play the fuck low for a little bit. No, let's just go on like nothing happened. Yeah, we're gonna shoot some more people, and some more. It's like they don't have a conscience of like, hey, before you pull out the fucking gun, think about it. I mean, the other guy was drunk. Fuck him. I mean, he was crazy. But you're not drunk. You're a police officer. You're supposed to be trained. Like, you're comparing, like, it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And I don't understand why it's still happening.
It's still happening because they are pumped with adrenaline all day, and they, at that point, they have so much on their plate.
Like what? Like donuts on their plate? What the fuck do they have on their plate? They don't have any other thing. First of all, you chose to do this job. Nobody forced you to do it. Second of all, at least anything you have, it's like me at work or you at work. You have problems. Everybody has problems. When you go into the building or you put on and you start work, you leave those problems the fuck out. And these guys, they bring them with them. They bring their problems to work, or they bring their repressions over there, and this is what happened. People fucking die.
Yeah, these cops, I think, to go out on the streets, in America especially, I think they must get like some cocaine or something to be hype to do their jobs. Must be like pumped up with adrenaline and everything to do their jobs. I'm not trying to defend them. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe you understood it wrong.
For the people.
Yeah.
We don't want to do a third episode of fucking racism.
No. Racism.
No, but we'll talk about it whenever it's necessary.
No. I'm saying that to be out on the streets and do their job. Some of them do I heard 10, 12 hours shifts. and yeah, you get tired, you get nervous, many of them take drugs. I don't know if they're like, tested before going out on the streets.
Well, that's the thing. What do you mean? Tested for drugs, you mean?
Drugs and psychology, like to see if they're, stable with their, to do a kind of job like this, to be out on the streets and to be always aggressive with the people. That's why they're aggressive, probably.
Okay. No, you have a point, but I don't think it's drugs. I think, okay, it may have
It's
some...
not stress only, I mean, it's like...
No, I think it has to do with proper training. Because it looks like, the way it is, the way it's showing, I'm not sure if it is, because I don't know what's happening, how the recruitment process is in the US, but it looks like anyone can become a police officer, and apparently like gun control, the problems with gun control is that they probably don't do an exhaustive test to see like the person that you're going to give a gun to, or the person that you're going to give authority to, is not someone who was probably beaten up as a kid or bullied as a kid and wants to come back with revenge.
Yeah, they have to do psychology.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's extensive, because it should be extensive and there should be training and there should be ongoing training all the time. It's not like a process where, even like in any job, and this isn't any job, but we don't have to kill people, but in their job, if you're going to be holding a gun and one, you shouldn't be allowed to drink. Let's start with it, or take drugs. If athletes go into the ring and they have to fight, or athletes go to the Olympics, if this is your job, this is what you do, then you shouldn't take steroids. You take steroids, that's it, you're out. Same thing with cops. I think if you become a cop or police officer, you shouldn't drink, or you shouldn't take drugs. You shouldn't take anything that will help you establish. Why? Because you're carrying a fucking gun all the time. So, it's if that's not a point enough, that's pretty much cool. But they should have ongoing training, even after 10 years, after 15 years.
They should be tested each week, I think.
Okay.
Psychologically, at least.
Well, psychologically, you won't.
At least 1 hour.
They can have sessions. Yeah, no, you're right. They could have hourly sessions, or to figure out okay, this guy, this fucker, he's going towards
he's going to
it looks like
somebody, yeah.
If not this week, maybe the next one he's going to pull out a gun.
Or at least puts undercover cop to, see how they handle the situation in the streets every day, or in a week.
Or be supervised more.
Yeah. Somebody to check on, on the situation, on everyday life, on the street.
Well, let's hope that they actually do something. Although, right now with Donald Trump instigating violence, I can't see that coming. And I can't see if he gets revoted, I can't see anything good happening out of that, because he's very attached to the military and the National Guard, and he sounds like a pretty dangerous fucker. Sorry to all those that support Donald Trump, he's a dick, I don't like him, that's how it is. You like Donald Trump?
No, I hate it.
You sure? Because I was almost sure that you would be supportive of Okay. Well, that's racism in the US, and that's what we talked about, the racism in Egypt. How about the racism here in Cyprus? Have you encountered racism here in Cyprus?
Yeah, of course.
On yourself?
You mean
towards you?
No, on myself, no.
Not even because maybe you were fat or something like that? They didn't,
I still am fat. So.
Yeah, but they didn't discriminate you in any way?
No, never. Maybe they call me once or twice Italos, the Italian.
Okay. But you take pride in that?
Yeah. Italiano.
Hey. We don't fucking do this all the time, okay? And this doesn't explain everything, okay? Just so we're clear.
This means, what the fuck do you want?
Yeah, it just means what the fuck. Very, very simple. So yeah, no racism in Cyprus.
No, in Greece, yeah, but in Cyprus, no.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Here in Cyprus, there was an incident, what was it, last year or the year before? Do you remember?
But what?
About this, this lady, there was this Russian lady that saw a group of Cypriot women.
Yes, in the car.
Yeah,
Right.
in the car park.
Yeah.
And they were videoing, they were like,
She was videoing it, and
Yeah.
they told her to stop videoing. She said continue because she said like, fuck off.
Because she can.
Yeah. Exactly.
and that was very bad.
Yeah.
And you know what? This is news breaking for everyone. That lady specifically, was the mother of a child that was in my son's class. And supposedly she was a psychologist. I don't know what the fuck she was because, you know, from the way that she was dressed, I don't want to be discriminative, but from the way that she presented herself, she doesn't look like a good psychologist to me. But we had you know, sat at the same table and she was very, very awkward. That lady was the lady who was on that video who had exploded with racial slurs towards the Russian lady. Unbelievable. And when I saw her, when I saw the video, I thought like, this face looks familiar. And then I showed Alex, and Alex doesn't forget. And she said, yeah, it's her. And apparently she lost her job.
Really?
Yeah, she was fired.
Good.
And I think there was a penal act as well, or a civil
She
suit or
bumped into
something.
another car.
No, not only for that, for the
for being racist.
no, for the slurs, yeah, for the offensive remarks. But that was the only incident that I had seen here in Cyprus that was deemed racist. Before and after that, nothing, at least towards me. I mean, you know, I've spoken to police officers because we had like some car accidents or whatever. Everybody has been exceptional. I mean, the police officers were super respectful. You know, didn't say anything because I was fat or anything like that. They weren't discriminatory that I was Italian or anything. But I think that this is the thing. I don't think it affects us, me and you, because we speak Greek. And I think that puts down the barrier. Okay, they will call us calamarades. Okay, they call everybody calamarades. Okay, that's you know, it's not right, but it's part of how it was.
Yeah.
I get why. But at least one-to-one, never had any racial encounters here in Cyprus.
No, neither.
In Greece, as you said, yeah, there were a few. Because obviously, like, this is how it is for us, I think. For Greeks, we're Italian. For Italy, we're Greeks.
Yeah.
And I don't know which is worst. Which is
Well,
more
opposite.
good.
When we were like in Italy, they were racist too against the Greeks and everything. But then again, going back to Greece and seeing that they were racist even more, obviously because Italy invaded for the war and everything.
Yeah, it's kind of the same reason why the Germans still get some heat when they start rising, you know, their
Well, that's only like the
posture.
elderly people. That's
Elderly,
elderly, yeah.
not elderly.
Fuck off.
Elderly.
Elderly. Yeah?
Okay, well, I mean, I think we've exhausted that part, so I think we can easily assume
I'm not racist.
that you're not really. I think we're all a little bit racist. I think we're all a little bit racist, and I don't think that we do it on purpose. I think it's just the way that we are grown into and the way that we are brought into society. We have a tendency to be a little bit racist.
Yeah.
Because there were things like back then, and this is a part of the argument that I had on the internet, the exchange that I had on the internet the other day, is like things that I considered like 10, 20 years ago to be okay. Right now, not because I've become woke, not because we're all more woke or whatever. You know what woke means, right?
Yeah, woke.
It's not the thing that you cook the Chinese food. Like, don't reference everything
Like,
to food.
why is he saying woke for now?
Woke. It's been like, you know,
Woken up.
awake.
Yeah,
woke.
I know.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, now you do for sure. And it's not just a matter of that. It's just that, like, at the time we didn't know, so we thought things were okay. But now, you know, we're in a different state of mind where those things were not okay.
Mm.
And back then we just accepted them. And now it doesn't make sense. It's wrong. So it should be wrong. You know?
I bet if we didn't have the internet now, we would still be the same.
Yeah, I think internet contributed more to this.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to ask you, because this is the thing that my Greek friends did very often. And again, when you do something like, because in the past, for example, I've made the mistake of impersonating Barry White, and I did blackface when I did it. And I thought it was going to be cool because I was going to, like, you know, portray the character.
Yeah.
And, you know, now
You
that
painted your face black.
yeah, and I realized now that was like incredibly stupid. Not only did it look ridiculous, but it was like, it wasn't the point. You know, it was the song, it was the dress, it was like, you know, the voice.
Yeah.
That was the main thing. I shouldn't have, you know, done that because that was wrong. And back then I thought it was going to be cool and I was going to, you know, portray the character when we were doing the show. But now when I think of it, it's quite embarrassing. In fact, like, you know, I was putting up some clips now that I've started editing, and I saw that one, and I'm like, fuck that.
That's so racist.
Yeah, it
I'm
is.
racist.
No, it wasn't.
You are racist.
But that's my point. Like, we don't realize that we were
back
born
then,
into
yeah,
racism. We thought it was okay.
And this was like, what, 10 years ago?
No, more than that.
More?
It was almost 15 years ago at least.
15 years.
Yeah. So, you know, we don't realize that. Another thing that I wanted to ask you, what do you think, because you see, stereotypes are racist in general.
Yeah.
In context, when we're doing comedy, obviously, and, you know, if you can, it's part of it, and that's okay. I believe it's okay. But, like, if you imitate, for example, a gay person, or a lesbian person, whatever, doesn't matter. That's not the point. It's deemed offensive. Like, you know, if you act in a certain way, you try to, like, overact that thing, is considered offensive because you're trying to
I think
blow out of proportion the mannerisms of that type of person, that kind of beliefs or sexual orientation or whatever. But when you're trying to imitate, like, an Italian guy, and you're like, hey, Costa, let's eat the pizza, it's very nice. That's funny. You see, that's being funny and not racist. And you go like, hey, where is the pizza? Where's the pasta? Let's eat. So that's considered fine.
Yeah.
That's not considered racist. That's considered like folklore or like traditional or like it's funny. But anything else, like even if you try to talk like a black person, it's the
I
should be.
Wait.
But if you do it like with anybody else, like if you try to imitate a Chinese person, that's racist, you know, and that's inappropriate, and I agree with that. But why like the fuck the Italians
I
are not into
think
that?
you're confusing something here.
Really?
Yeah.
This is going to be a turning point, and this is going to be like our last point before we close the show.
So, you think that, like, if I do something like this, you know, hey, to an Italian, a full Italian, he will think, oh, that's funny. I've seen faces just turn like from a smile to like anger because you do that.
I agree. No, I totally agree.
But we, me and you,
No, I'm not talking about our context. You
Yeah.
see? So what you try to explain to me is bullshit.
no, it's not. It's
No.
true.
Let me just put it
We're
down.
multi-ethnic.
I'm
so
just saying,
that's
like, if we were now in a group of people,
Yeah.
okay, and I try to imitate a black person or a Chinese person or an Indian person, okay, even if there weren't any around,
Yeah.
by the woke community that we have around us, that would be deemed racist, and it should be. It should. It's wrong, okay? But if somebody says like, hey, where's the pizza? Let's eat the pizza. Let's go and kill somebody like a mafia reference, you know, that's funny. Nobody would say, hey man,
because
especially Italians. No, nobody gives a fuck about that. It's funny how certain stereotypes and certain mannerisms are deemed super racist, and you have to be super woke, and others, no problem. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, I think, you're right on this point, yeah.
I wouldn't go to an Italian and say like, like Borat or whatever, they're going to slap the shit out of me. No, it's not. I would slap them back, but still.
It's violence again.
No, it's just defending myself.
No, I think like, even if you say it to a Chinese person, or you say it to...
Yeah, that would be offensive. But
Indian
it's just like,
or whatever, they won't take it as serious like if you do it to a black man,
okay,
a black person.
now, what I think is...
Why? Well, let me finish.
No. What I think
Why?
is...
Because it's the black problem, not the black problem.
You're digging yourself.
Being racist against the black people,
Nah.
it's much more bigger than Indians, Chinese, Asian people in general, Europeans. It's much more like blown up.
It's blown up, yeah, but why is it more important?
It's not more important. It's just that it's more blown up. It's just like it's been on the news, on the internet, everywhere about all these problems.
So you're saying...
in America, not in Africa. In America, there's been this problem.
Yeah, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like why other stereotypes. This is why I think like you deeply missed the point that I was trying to make. Completely missed the range. Is why certain stereotypes, they're super reactive to them saying like, oh, that's racist, oh, that's bad, and to others they're saying like, it's funny. Why? Why, Costa?
That's why I'm telling you this.
No, you're not telling me this.
Yeah, I told you.
You told me that like the racism against African Americans is blown up. Against Asians is blown up. But I understand why it has more relevance in the media. But why do you think people would consider it non-offensive? At the core of the offense.
Because I don't know.
There you go. So that was it for our segment on racism. Thanks everybody for listening.
Wait a minute. Wait.
Okay.
I just want to ask you, remember that video clip that we saw online was about our famous
Porn?
English, English...
Yeah, I don't remember. No, say.
English comedian, and she was like, it was a clip basically.
Okay.
And she was asked to
interpreter.
Interpreter,
Yeah, that was Catherine Tate.
Yeah, I didn't want to say the name, but you said it.
Well, she's famous. I'm pretty sure she'll benefit from this in saying this.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not going to pay her royalties for saying her name, for fuck's sake. But yeah, she did the international interpreter.
The interpreter,
Yeah.
translation, yeah.
And she like imitated the stereotypes of all. But you see, this is the thing. When she did it, she did it in the context of funny, in the context of comedy. So when that does take place, and okay, it's not somebody that says like, now I'm going to say you're all that shit. I'm not going to. That's out of context, but the context was the joke.
Yeah, but do you think people from the races that she was imitating got angry?
I don't know. I showed it to some friends of mine that were, mixed, and they laughed. I don't know if they got offended, but if they got offended in that context, I think it's wrong. Fucking. Because the context of it was a joke.
Yeah.
And when it comes to jokes, when it comes to I think the comedy, and I've heard this and I believe this, that nothing is off limits, because the context is it's a joke, and you're reading it and you're saying it in the context of that, you know. It's like Ricky Gervais did a joke about, you know, killing babies in Africa. Okay, it's a joke because we're in the understanding that nobody would actually, neither of he or us listening to it would go like boom and actually do it.
Yeah.
That's why it's a concept of, because it's the context of the joke. It's not, you know, hey, what are you going to do?
Comedy.
Yeah. So with regards to Catherine Tate, I think it's okay because the context was for a good cause. It was comedy. It was a joke, and there was nothing bad in that. You know, you can't get offended in that, because I'm pretty sure that Catherine Tate doesn't do that in real life. You know, it's not like her normal thing, going and imitating and like whatever. Maybe she does. I don't know, but like I don't think that was a context for the joke, and there's a different context for the actual matters.
Saying that, okay. After I listened to, I looked at the clip.
Which clip?
Well, from Catherine Tate.
Yeah.
I've seen different, you know, people like Italians, Swedish, and you know what comes up in my mind in that moment? Goody, if I see Swedish. Italians, cosa dice, patice.
You memorize this. You memorize this. How many times have you seen this clip?
Oh, maybe 1,000 times. I still laugh at it. It's so funny.
No, but it's a context of the joke. It's a context.
But it comes up to my mind, even if I see like an Italian on the road speaking in Italian, or I don't know, Chinese.
But that's the thing. I mean, if you see a stereotype, because there are stereotypes. If you see a stereotype, you go down to Naples and you see somebody shouting across, like you say, like, okay, that's the stereotype. That's the joke. That's a reference to it. That's okay. You know, you're not gonna, because the context is the joke.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you know, it's not that you're intended to offend. It's not intended to you know, laugh at them. It's laughing with them. You know, it's like when you imitate me when I talk, or when I imitate you when I talk. It doesn't mean that you know. It's the context of the joke.
Yeah.
Okay.
Take out the egg from your mouth. Then.
I'm trying. So that was it, everybody. Thank you very much for tuning in and listening. And we'll sit again next week. This time we will actually, unless we get any further comments, we will tackle the unusual subject of UFOs. Thanks again. Take care. Bye-bye.
You didn't say something for me to say bye.
Yeah, that's why I pointed at it.